the Queen City, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as their hometown Royals set to go to war here in Week 7 of this UFL season as they host the Washington Knights. Good evening, folks. As these 2-3-3 teams come out on the field, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Tyler Falk, alongside Ramos Lynn. Great to have your company here for this Week 7 contest. Ramos, both these two teams coming in on 2-game winning streaks. Someone, unfortunately, is going to be taking it out. The other gets to continue that streak to get over 500.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a pivotal game if you want to still have chances at the playoffs and chances at winning the championship, right? These two teams, have their strength, they have their weaknesses as well. And we've seen it, a little bit of inconsistency, 3-3 for both teams, but it's one of those cases where they're kind of like evenly matched, in my opinion, and we could have a really good game.
Washington top 10 in average passing yards. We'll see what they can do here tonight, as here we go. From Charlotte, North Carolina, and the opening kick will be taken down for an E. And that is where Washington will start up at their own 20-yard line after the touchback. TJ Stevens runs onto the field. It's going to be 25-yard line. Adjusted rules here in the UFL as we start with a run up to the right-hand side. And minimal gain there from the tailback. Eric Kilgore, one of the stars of this Washington lineup. Here, Ramos, what else do you see from this talented group of young men and women?
Yeah, I mean, they need to give protection. They've done a decent job giving protection to the quarterback, and that's exactly what they have to do. Give the quarterback time. He can find the open receivers, but, you can see already Charlotte, showing a blitz.
And Stevens will go into the gun here, play action. 4-man rush only, and they find an open receiver to the inside the numbers, down to the 46-yard line. For Isaiah Moody, the lead wide receiver out of that wide receiver room.
Yeah, it's an easy pitch and catch. Again, a lot of time given and wide open in the zone for a big first down.
Catching the defense by surprise. And that'll set up another Washington first down, first one of the ball game. They come out in a power eye. This will be a true run up the middle. Kilgore going nowhere, taken down by a member of the linebacking corps as we introduce you now to the Charlotte Royals defense. And Don Johnson has I've got him sort of on my roster sheet here. Ramos, what else do you see here about these Royals?
Yeah, the secondary. I think it's a talented secondary that needs to get interceptions tonight. They really need to force turnovers and steal a possession or two out of Washington.
Good looking out for Ralph Leopold as well. As we'll run left side, good little hole, Butch closes quickly. Still, Kilgore's able to get a couple of yards. And we'll bring up third down and 4 to go. Screen pass, and it's going to be dumped down in the turf. Good pressure from the Royals defense, forces the bad pass, and that Washington drive will stall.
Yeah, surprise throw to the dirt on that one. He had enough space. I think the quarterback, he did feel the pressure, but the quarterback, I think, had enough space to get that to the receiver, and he could have had quite a bit of room. The blocking was up front to make the screen pass work.
Decent punt there from Donovan Taylor. Out of the 16-yard line, and so John Clements, like his first start under center here tonight, and he'll hand it off left side to Chris Curtis. And the albino able to pick up a couple yards as we take a look at the rest of that Royals offense, which at times your partner has struggled to get going. But these last 2 weeks, they've been able to get the better of their opponents.
Yeah, they have, and they, I believe, need a big game from Curtis, the running back position. We like to talk about, the passing game and the passing attacks, and this could have quite a few points, but, you need to keep your running back productive.
Jay Hayden picks up the last tackle as we go play action with Clements. The southpaw looking for the corner route. That's caught! For a big chunk of yards all the way up to the 47-yard line. Dylan Boone, the tight end, hauls that one in.
Clean pocket, nobody even close to the quarterback, and a great throw as the linebacker got a little bit lost in the play. Just in not enough or not a good positioning. But good job by Boone also shielding the defender with his body.
All 6'5" of him almost out there like he's boxing out, trying to look for a loose rebound, but this time able to haul in the pigskin and put Charlotte up for a first down. Clements looking to throw again, looking underneath. That's caught. That'll be another first down. Good spin move out of the tackle from James Cooley. That picks up a good chunk of yards. We'll say about 10-11 on the play.
Keeping the chains moving is Charlotte. Really good first couple of plays.
3 tight ends out of this shotgun look for Clements. Curtis in the backfield. He'll get the call through the middle, and he loses the football, and Washington recover. Wow! A bang-bang play as Curtis loses the ball, picked up by one of the linemen.
Yeah, and it looked like some pretty good blocking, but what a job right there over the middle of the field. It was just Loveless on that one. Caveness on that one, just punching the football, more than making the tackle. He just put the fist on the ball and punched that one away, and that's one of the turnovers. If you lose the turnover battle, you're not going to win many games.
Darius Allenay was the one who picked up the football, but hold everything. We'll go under the hood here on the UFL to take a second look at it.
Ooh, the knee might have been down.
Maybe. That ball is moving rather quickly. Oh, that's really close.
It is close.
Now let's get the call here from the head referee. And it will go back to Charlotte hands. So then he was down there, Ramos, before the ball popped free. And so Clements will go into the pistol now. Handoff Curtis left side. Better control of it here as he picks up the first down and a gain of about 6. Or no, they'll mark him just a half yard shy.
Just a half yard shy, yeah, but good blocking again for Charlotte. So I fully expect another run here on the power set.
Curtis dots the I. John Gary on the last tackle. We'll run one more time. Good push up front from the line. That's an easy first down.
Yeah, really good push. Everybody on the offensive line got the defender by at least a yard and a half. And every time you have that, you're going to get some really good yardage.
Especially when you only need that just football length of yardage to get the first down. Back to the line they go. Another heavy tight end look. 2 tight ends on the line to the left. Try and run with Curtis right side, away from the strong side. And he'll be taken down by Jared Young. And let's key in now on the Knights defense. John Gary, Jay Hayden make up a talented group there in the back half of the field.
Yeah, again, it's a defense that needs to force some turnovers in this game. So far, here early on, the offensive line is getting the best of the defensive line.
It's funny you mentioned turnovers. Both these school quarterbacks today don't throw too many interceptions. Oh my goodness, Clements with so much room to run. 26 yards down to the 1 yard line.
That's just a simple QB power on that one. That was the sign run all the way as the running back gave some really good blocking, and then the pulling guard as well. There's Curtis as well getting in the way, but by doing so, just sealing the edge and not allowing any defender to get to the outside, and a touchdown saving tackle by the safety.
In the nick of time was Darius Allenay again, and now Charlotte just a yard away from giving us our first points of the game. Another good push. Curtis shrugs off a tackle, and he's in to score. Touchdown, Royals.
Good push again by the offensive line. They didn't need much. They needed about half a yard. And a good, solid, broken tackle there by Curtis. As he just stiff-armed the defensive lineman to the dirt. What a drive here by the Royals.
Charlotte in the back half, the bottom 10 in terms of rushing touchdowns coming into this week. That's only their 4th rushing touchdown as a team. But with that Chris Curtis run, that's all you need to score 7 and get our first lead of the game, 7-0 Royals.
Yep. Strong start here by the home team, and Washington, doesn't need to panic. Of course, stick to your game plan.
Took off a good chunk of time as well on the clock. 5:41 to go here in this first frame of action. Charlotte faithful, happy to see their team up front. Let's see if their defense get old strong. Will Washington find a chink in that early armor? So we are back and underway. And another kneel down for Cornelius Lemon. Back in his own end zone, and so here comes Washington. That first drive stalled out after a couple of great pressures up front. No sacks, but a failed screenplay on 3rd down led to their punt. Let's see if their fortunes change here on drive number 2. Right in motion now to the left-hand side. I go back the other way. Run right side, denied at the line of scrimmage. Excellent stop there from Ralph Leopold.
Yeah, really good stop. Really, really good stop. This Royals offense and defense off to a really, really strong start. Another power I formation, so maybe another run.
Extra blocks, a little bit of misdirection, and that is a good chunk of yards. They'll say that's enough for a first down for Kilgore.
Yeah, and I really like the misdirection with a pulling guard as well. So one of the offensive linemen gets to the left and just adds some more additional blocking for the running game.
Let's go. 30 base. Mark 54. Clear.
Stevens now going into the pistol. 5-man rush, another little lane handoff. Kilgore gets swamped. 4 defenders in the area. He's going to lose a yard. Taken down eventually by Sean Griffin for a loss of 1, the unclaimed free safety.
Decent blocking, but nice pursuit by the Charlotte defense. A little bit of a holding probably, Tyler, on number 52 outside on Carr, but...
Oh, don't get me started on holding for those that watch a college football league on the side of UFL or SFL action. 15 of those in my game yesterday. Anywho, run to the right-hand side. Kilgore again going to go down for another loss. This is Marquise Ayodele with the stop for no gain.
Yeah, 3rd and 11 now. So 3rd and very, very long here for Washington. Nice blitz off the right-hand side, and Ayodele just coming in unblocked.
Charlotte, one of the top teams in terms of first downs, 3rd in the league coming in today, and they'll try and pass over the middle, and that is just a bit too low. Incomplete from Stevens, and that'll bring up a 4th down in their 2nd punt of the game.
Yep. Really strong stand here by Charlotte, not only getting the stop, but even pushing the Washington offense back, and we've seen both lines, on the line of scrimmage. That's when most games are won or lost, is just those lines of scrimmages, and Charlotte clearly winning the battle so far.
Hunt is away, and this one going to be a good one. It's going to stop. Someone got out their sandwich and put some excellent spin on that football. The down and at the 4-yard line, great punt. And that is where Charlotte will be backed up deep in their own territory for their 2nd drive. Bit deeper than they were last time. They had to start on their 16, but that ended up going for a good rushing touchdown from Curtis. After that man right there, John Clements ran for 26 yards. Running game was the story of the show on the last drive.
Let's go.
And we'll start with the ground game again. Curtis left side. Backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost. No problem. First down on the first play of the drive.
Really nice job again. It's a shotgun run. You know, it's one of those cases where running is the most likely outcome when you're backed up on the side of the field, and you know, Washington just was not prepared for it.
Let's go now. 18 Gator.
After a good run, they're now going to go to the air here.
Ready, ready.
Their own 15. Clements looking left side. Quick hitter, tight end, drag route. Nice and easy off of one tackle. Drugging for more. We'll give him 9 there on that play. Boone on his second grab of the night.
And again, it's, you know, the Royals are putting themselves in short down situations, 2nd and inches again.
It's time to run from the backup tailback, and that'll be good enough for first down. That's Marquise Watts for a yard, and that'll move the sticks.
1st and 10. We've seen Charlotte for the most part here in the first quarter here on offense.
8 men in the box here, expecting run. Clements will go to the air, looking middle into double coverage, nearly picked off by Washington. Darius Allen again. You only got another play.
50, plant. And let's pin the mirrors back and go full.
Second down upcoming. Clements, RPO, pass right side, caught with plenty of room to work. Up to the 40-yard line. Man, that guy's got some speed. Joe Aburatsabo.
Yeah, and it's not only the blocking by the offensive line, the blocking outside by the receivers too. You know, you look at the outside and everybody has a hat on a hat right there, another block that gives Aburatsabo another 5 yards.
He runs so fast, he almost outruns the letters on his nameplate. Good chunk of yards for Charlotte.
Ready, ready. 15 line. 15 line.
Clements will come out in the gun. Curtis sidecar right. The friends pairing up again, and Curtis gets crushed. Poppy Hudson for a 3-yard loss.
Finally, Washington able to get in the backfield and make the tackle. They've gotten to the backfield a couple of times, but unable to make the stop this time. Clemens makes the tackle for a loss, and this is exactly what Washington needs. Now they need to prevent Charlotte to get to the first down marker.
Tight end look, quick pass, near side out of 1, looking to get out of more and probably get back to the line of scrimmage. No further. James Cooley had it all to do on that RPO.
Yep. 3rd and long, 3rd down and 11 yards to go. Charlotte needs to put some sort of pressure here on the quarterback. Excuse me, Washington does.
Running chips here. Clements only has 3 wide receivers to look for. Finds one of them for a first down. Aburatsabo for a second catch of the drives. Gets a first down and brings this quarter to an end. It's the home team, Charlotte Royals, on top of the Washington Knights. Welcome back to Week 7 here in the UFL. I'm Tyler Falk. He's Ramos Lynn. Thanks for coming in and taking your time here to watch some UFL action. Glad to have your company as Curtis gets the carry on first down. He's only able to gain 2.
So it looks like, you know, Washington has now settled down a little bit defensively in some things. You know, we are not seeing them getting pushed around over the last couple of plays as much as they had.
Go back in motion. It's going to be another RPO right side. Cooley. He'll gain about 6. And he'll bring up 3rd and short. A pretty easy spot, you would think, here for Charlotte. But they have converted less than 50% of their 3rd downs to this point in the season. Getting only 43% as Curtis will pick that one up easily. Up to the Washington 35.
Just a great block on the outside. I don't know if we're going to get a replay, but a great block. There it is, number 71, pulling to the right and getting the linebacker, and that's just enough for Curtis to get the first down.
Again, looking right side, trying to find an angle. Everyone on this Charlotte Royal team. A blocker, as well as all their other duties at their position, as Curtis tries to go left side, but Couldn't find any running room up the middle. As Sean Havaness able to shut off a tackle.
Mike's 50, Mike's 50.
I think they're still gonna run it. Oh no.
Pass Clements left side. That's caught Cooley inside the 30. That quick hitter good for 6.
And that makes it a manageable 3rd down and 4. Instead of having a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, you have a 3rd and 4. It's much more doable, and the playbook's pretty open.
Clements in the pistol. Able to drop back to pass. Looking near side. That's picked in triple coverage. Ill-advised throw, and Washington will take it over. Jay Hayden with the pick.
Yeah, just a poor read right there by the quarterback, throwing into triple coverage. Really the only player that was covered by more than one person, and one of the defenders was going to come up with it, and it was the corner.
Hayden's 2nd pick of the season, and he just had to fend off 2 of his buddies to hold that one in. Cooley couldn't outfight him. In just his 3rd game in this season. It's a pretty good clip, averaging nearly a pick a game at this point. Try and run through the middle here on 1st down. Washington, no. Really tough sledding here for this running game, and Kilgore's, it's been tough.
Yeah. It's been tough sledding so far. Only 17 rushing yards.
Let's try again. Kilgore right into the teeth of that defense. Again, going to go nowhere. This Royal defense holding strong, and it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, 3rd and 9, obvious passing situation again here by Washington. They will show 4 receivers. I think something is
a balanced look to the Royals showing zone. Pass left side from Stevens, knocked away at the last second. Incomplete. Sean Griffin there in coverage. 3rd punt of the game coming up already for one of the league's best punters, it might be said here for Washington. Donovan Taylor, top 5 in terms of punts inside the 20. He's already had 2 tonight, but this one he's going to need a lot of leg strength to get this ball inside the Royal 20 this time.
Yeah, for sure. I think Charlotte will have some pretty good field position, somewhere in between the 30 and the 40.
Punt is away. It is a pretty decent kick. And the Royals will have their best starting field position of the game. Do a little shifty move. Gain a couple extra yards. A good 17-yard return for O'Shea Timbers. That is where Clements will retake the field after throwing the pick in the last drive. It doesn't hurt them. They still have this 7-point lead here, Ramos, but we've seen nothing for the past, I want to say, nearly a quarter we've gone without a score.
Yeah. Both defenses really have made some good plays on 3rd down.
Curtis with the give. He cuts it back inside, gets across midfield, and eventually will be hauled down after gaining 4. Now back to the gun goes Clements. Receivers bunched in tight on the line. Blitz coming off the edge from the weak side, but Clements finds Curtis, who's immediately tackled. Actually going to lose 2 yards. As Alane again called his name a lot tonight, the unclaimed free safety.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pressure forces that throw. He cannot get to anybody but the running back, and he was immediately tackled after probably a gain of about half a yard.
Kind of amazing that the team's leading corner in terms of leading player, I should say, in terms of picks, unclaimed at this point. Pass right side on the blitz as the Royals find plenty of space in man coverage, and that's a good 1st down for Charlotte.
Yeah, and we see across the league a large number, or decent number of unclaimed players that are making really awesome work this season. Rochester. I know we have one of our defensive linemen, who's gotten many sacks and still unclaimed. Well,
let's bring in the SFL commissioner here real quick to talk about, who remain? I know we've had a lot of leaders that have been unclaimed. Let's go ahead and maybe you can break down, a few of the leaders you see that are still unclaimed.
Yeah, over 200 players claimed, but in a 32-team league, Tyler, there's a lot of players out there. So I think what we've seen recently is that Tennessee has a quarterback running back duo that has recently become available. I think you're going to see that out of San Jose as well from a quarterback wide receiver perspective. They've been really struggling, and I think they're done with Warren Cunningham. So that's just the talent that was previously claimed that won't be claimed. There's many more around the league. It's hard to mention just one. It's so tough. But Washington, I don't know how to pronounce his name, quite frankly. I'm going to be honest with you, Tyler, so I'm good with the way you're saying it. But he is an incredible player, and there's a lot of good ones in this game we got to keep an eye on.
Thank you, Cam and Clements. The clock ran out, and our first sack of the ball game goes to Washington and goes to the left end, Juwan Jordan, and that'll knock him out of field goal range.
Yeah, again, these teams over the last couple of drives have done amazing plays on third down, and this is one of them. This is probably a 51-yard field goal attempt, and they just completely take him out of field goal range.
So with that, out comes the punting unit for Charlotte. Jimmy Smith, in his sophomore season in the UFL, gets this one away, hoping for a good bounce. It'll land near the 5, and will take a Washington hop into the own red zone as Charlotte, its defense, now going to have to come out onto the field now, and I'll continue to do the great job. They've held Washington scoreless, and it's a little bit uncharacteristic. They usually allow about 56% of third downs to the opponents. As there's a good first down from Washington on the opening play of the drive, as Stevens hooks up with Isaiah Moody for 18.
Good strong throw right there. Just a quick stop route in between the corner and the safety. Beautiful route. And a nice gain here for Washington.
I'll check back to my earlier question. They allow 43%. It's only 15th in the league, but still one of the lowest third downs conversions, and Washington's currently feeling that. Trying to do reverse math on everybody here. It's that new math that they keep talking about. As Stevens will tuck it and run toward the near side, up the sideline, inside the Charlotte 40-yard line. And a big first down from the quarterback.
Yeah, and great blocking from the offensive lineman. Nobody open down the field, but with that great of a blocking, Stevens had a chance to get to the outside and go completely untouched for many, many yards before he got finally tackled.
Longest run of the season for Stevens of 23 yards. Previous long was 14.
Ready, 50, plant.
That'll keep this drive rolling. Looking to pass is Stevens. Looking underneath near side. That's caught. Good gain of 9. As Stevens finds his tight end, Decanter Nixon.
And for 1 second, I thought that was going to be intercepted, to be honest. But the receiver just stole it away from the DB, and a nice gain, and 2nd and 2, maybe some running here.
Weak pistol eye here as little play action, little bit of, oh my goodness! The option play fails! Stevens couldn't hold on to it, and this defense for Charlotte comes alive again. Isaiah Austin recovers the loose football.
Yeah, just a little read option. Not a bad read, but what a play by the defense on the outside at the very end. The safety just reading the running play by the quarterback, getting the right angle. And we may see another challenge here, Tyler, another review.
Sean Griffin, the free safety, knocks the ball free. We have had a fumble overturned early in the game, like you mentioned. We'll see if they throw the right hanky. No, it stays in the pocket, and the Royals will take over on their own 41-yard line. Clements, middle into, well, I would say double coverage, but there were 2 blue jerseys in the area. that both could have had a shot at the football.
Sure did. And a game that started with some really good offensive plays has just become a defensive struggle. As both teams really struggling now to get any positive yardage.
Oh, Curtis, good hole up the middle and a juke move. We're trying to find extra yardage, but he'll gain 10. And he is starting to heat up, getting closer and closer to the 50-yard mark.
Yeah, he is. He is, and that's one of the better plays by the offensive line we've seen in a little bit, as they parted the Red Sea on the left-hand side and got well enough for a first down. A little bit of a stop and go right there by Curtis as well. Great move.
10-2 stop.
Watch the curve.
As again, now on the 2-minute warning, Clements will go in the gun. Play action, 4-man rush. Caught right side, up the side, all the way home. Yes, sir! James Cooley, 49 yards. Finally, we got double digits on the board. Charlotte with a touchdown.
Yeah, just a quick slant route, nothing too complex, nothing too spectacular, but just hitting them inside, in between that zone. And it was just the linebacker in the middle of the field, and he just could not catch up to Cooley.
He just stuck in between those hash marks and outraced 4 Knight defenders. And that is all she wrote from the big 6'3", rumbling, bumbling, stubbing wide receiver. He wasn't stumbling that time. Gets Charlotte 6 points. And the extra point is up and good from TJ Douglas. Then they get 14-0. Charlotte in firm control at the moment. Now up by 2 scores. Visit the YouTube channel of Green Gridiron, who launched a collaboration with the UFL that will bring all 32 teams to life with full-size helmet replicas. It's just the first way the UFL is bringing these teams to life. They make it real, and so do all of you. For more info on the amazing products Green Gridiron has to offer, visit greengridiron.com. Those of you playing UFL bingo finally get a couple more numbers to look at and hopefully fill out your bingo cards. You see a lot of 2s on the scoreboard at the moment. Second quarter, 2 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Stoney McCarty, good to see you. Glad you're enjoying the product.
Here we go.
Grateful to have your company as we continue here in week 7 of the UFL. Washington looking for points. They're trying to break out of this funk. Dump off underneath right side. Only a couple yard gain from the fullback Stanley McGee.
Yeah, it wasn't like from the power I formation, so only one wide receiver on that one, so nobody open down the field.
And we have in the 2-minute warning. We'll see what the Knights can come out with here as they try and crack into this 14-point lead. You're watching UFL football on BFN.
Hey, defense, let's go. We can up.
But it's the play. Stevens going to look left side here on the play out of the warning. They'll pick up a few more yards as welcome you back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Tyler Falk and Ramos Lynn here on the call. 57 left to go. Looks like there was a TV timeout or injury. It stopped the clock briefly. No, it was an incomplete pass which stopped the clock. And there's the timeout call for after that play goes for nowhere. Called out by Charlotte. And Charlotte wants the football to try and rack up some more points. Defense holding strong again.
Very, very much so. I mean, this Charlotte defense has been spectacular so far tonight. You know, especially against the run. They've just shut everything down.
So here comes yet another punt for Taylor. He's been a busy man, already his 4th punt of the game, and that return going nowhere. Gets stopped by the Canes team to catch up with Timbers, and the Royals will take over after James Cooley's first UFL touchdown on that last drive. Went for 49 yards. Be sure to keep that football in his trophy cabinet. As we Here come the Royals, looking to add more points on the board and extend this lead. Looking over the middle, looking for Cooley, and it's in and out of the receiver's hands. I want to remind you, for those in the UFL, stay tuned here for the second half. There's going to be a special announcement from the UFL Commissioner, Cameron Irvine. Let me give everybody a little bit of a hint here. It's going to have to do with progression. Oh, what a move from Curtis as he picks up 8 yards. And now it looks like the Royals are going to try and run some of this clock.
Let's see. I mean, 126 left, 125. If you can get an explosive play out of this, Tyler, you have to go and try to get some points.
On the hurry up, just coming back to the huddle and looking for a few yards. There's a dump off near side. Oh, what a turn from the tight end. Completely fooling a linebacker as Boone again hauls in his third catch. And it seems every time he touches the football, the play turns into gold. Here and Aaron just completely outruns the tight end. Underrated agility from the big man, the 6'5" tight end. Now Charlotte comes back to the line again. Minute 15 on the clocks. Clements looking corner route. Caught. It's Boone again to the 36.
And not only that, Tyler, he's getting out of bounds too.
A smart play. Fourth catch, 75 yards, and Washington can't do anything to stop them.
Yeah, no, I mean, over the last 2 plays, wide open Boone on the outside. And, you know, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? If you can get an explosive play or 2 in this case, and you would just go for it. I mean, you have the full momentum of the ball game. If you can make it 21-0, even 17-0, that's going to be a big, a big damage here for Washington.
Boone was lined up slot. Clements having trouble. Down he goes again. Jordan's second sack of the game knocks the Royals back to the 44, a loss of 8.
It's a very bad sack to take here if you're the quarterback. I mean, again, you lose a lot of yards and the clock keeps running.
We saw a little bit of this in the Minnesota game. Doug Falk, the quarterback for the Chippers, on back-to-back plays, knocks Minnesota out of field goal range. They would ultimately lose by 2 on that final drive. Now here on 2nd and long, Clements has to find somebody looking right side, open receiver, caught all the way home to the barn. Royals running rampant. Deshaun Walker plus the 3rd score of the game. In for Charlotte.
Yeah, and the key is that nobody's getting even close to the quarterback on that play, and that's what's happened in a lot of passing plays that we've seen. I mean, just all day to throw, and Walker finds himself wide open on the corner route, in for a touchdown, and it's 21-0 with the extra point pending.
Walker's 2nd touchdown of the season. It's a royal party here in North Carolina. Extra point is up and good. And Ramos said, it might only be the first half or nearing the end of the first half, but the Knights have got to change things around in a hurry, because right now they look a little lifeless.
Yeah, they do. They do. And offensively, just, not a whole lot of explosive plays, not a lot of, diverse play calling. It's been a little bit stale at the moment. And defensively, I mean, we've seen some really good plays from this defense, but you can tell at the end of that drive, they looked a little bit tired, Tyler. I mean, that defense has been on the field for a chunk of this first half.
They're going to need a long drive, and unfortunately for them, they will have to kick the ball away to begin the second half. And so if they want to come out with some sort of statement, they're going to have to go all the way down the field in just 39 seconds. How about this? On Primetime this season, we've seen a couple of teams shut out opposing teams in the first half, but have ultimately struggled in the second half. LA led Cincinnati 19-0 in loss. Rochester led 10-0 in loss. And San Diego led 17-0 and then needed a game-winning field goal to finish off that game. But still anything's possible. And these shutouts in the first half don't necessarily mean that they're going to have the same sort of luck in that second half. So right now, this would be the largest lead at half to a shutout opponent
Come on, set. 15, Lonnie. 15,
at this stage in the UFL. Good play on the first play of the drive. Now brings up another first down play. Stevens looking near side. That's caught to near the 42-yard line. And there's a timeout with 28 seconds to go. They have one left.
Yeah, one left, so you can still attack the middle of the field if you find the open receiver. They got past the half point of the field, so really good chance to get at least in field goal range. And again, you know, even 3 points, you just come away with some positives to end the first half.
Stevens in the gun. Look to the air again. Blitz coming here from Charlotte. Picked up rather well for the moment, but not anymore. Down goes Stevens. Ray Fisalou comes up with the sack, knocking him back 9.
Yeah, I mean, talk about bad sacks to take. That just derails this drive.
Gun again here for Stevens. Only a 4-man rush from Charlotte. Stevens with all the time in the world, and it evaporates again. Another sack. This time from Joseph Alexis. And that will bring an end to the half with Charlotte up 21. Washington with a donut.
Yeah, and every time this Charlotte defense has needed a play, every single time they've gotten it here in the first half. You know, Washington, again, last drive, a couple of really good throws, and we've seen a couple of decent plays, but, you know, you can just look at the stats and just see that Charlotte has, you know, dominated so far.
Just the second sack of the season for Alexis. We take a look at these mostly Charlotte highlights. The offense, well, it's been hit or miss sometimes this season for Charlotte, but today they've been hit. What does Washington got to do here in the second half to get back in this game, Ramos?
Well, first of all, they need to make a stop to start the half. You know, they need to make a stop, a strong stop, and just convert on third downs. Those third downs have been killing Washington, and you know, a turnover or two will not hurt as well. They need to force a takeaway and just steal a possession.
And we'll take a break and pause for league rights. We'll be right back here in the UFL on VFN.
This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Welcome back to the Queen City, or one of the Queen Cities here in the United States. This time we're in Charlotte, 21-0, as the hometown Royals are on top of the Washington Knights. I'm Tyler Falk, he's Ramos Lynn. Grateful to have your company. All of you out there in VFN YouTube chat, McCartney, again, good to have you with us, and glad you're enjoying the product, and glad you're liking how me and Ramos are calling the game. It always brings a smile to our face, and you know, motivates us to do even better. So here come the Royals here on first down to be a quarterback keeper for a good first down and 11 yards for number 11. Or they're only going to say 9. Come on, Rep.
Yeah, I don't know about that spot, but again, another situation where Charlotte will have a second and short. They've lived on second and short situations, and that just makes your life so much easier offensively.
I know those lines are imaginary, but come on, as we get a little topsy-turvy. Oh my goodness. I think the wide receiver had his map upside down. Abaratsabu, what was that?
Yeah, he didn't know where to go. He lost his footing and then tried to compose himself, and you know, just kind of made it even worse by going backwards a little bit. And you know, 2nd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 6.
Ready? 50-70, Indy.
So now Charlotte have to come out with an empty. Here's a potential for that stop here, Ramos. You were talking at half. 4-man rush. Clements, left side. That is caught by none other than Boone, who only averages around 49 yards a game. He's up to 91 tonight.
Yeah, and again, passing 243 passing yards. by Clements here in about effectively one half. You know, we're just about a minute into the second half. He's been on point 16 of 21. You know, with the only exception being, you know, that interception. But other than that, he's been just phenomenal.
Clements already closing out on his average. If we get some movement up front. And it'll be a false start on Charlotte. That'll knock him back a few yards. As the lineman, Carmardell, a little bit jumpy there. First and 15 now. Here for the Royals. They'll go handoff. Curtis left side. He gets free. Left side has one man to beat. But cannot get out of the tackle. A good gain of 16. Another first down. Touchdown saving tackle from Isaac Green.
You know, and that's a play that you just do to get a better second down. I mean, when you call that play, maybe you try to get, you know, from a 1st and 15, maybe a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8. But what a job on the left-hand side of the offensive line as Curtis was able to get 16.
Bunch right. Clements look to pass. Good blocking. Gets rid of it. Left side, and I don't think Abaratsabo was in bounds. He wasn't, maybe just a foot, but this isn't college, I'm afraid.
Yeah, just 1 foot in, incomplete throw. I'll run it here again, 2nd and 10.
Curtis has done it pretty well, and they will give him the football. Rice, a great blocking again. Curtis to up the numbers inside the 30, taken down at the 28-yard line. Curtis on a tear up to 85.
Yeah, and you just used Washington aggressiveness against them, right? Like they are eager to get some play on defense, get a sack, get an interception, get something, and you use exactly that aggressiveness against them and call a draw.
See the frustration on the Washington sideline. Stevens a little upset, just having to wait even longer to get out in the field. Closing on the 3-minute mark of the drive. Curtis again with the plunge up the middle for 6 yards.
Second down and 4. Again, 2nd and short.
Washington will throw a safety into the box, trying to get some added run support and run from the backup tailback. Watts. No gain. Good tackle up front. Brings up 3rd down.
And nothing doing 3rd down and 4. I will not be surprised if they try to do another type of bubble screen or something like that.
Bunch to Clements' left. Pressure coming. It is a screen with plenty of blocking for Watts up to the 15-yard line. And that will flip the down marker back to 1.
All right, so not a bubble screen, but a screen nonetheless to the back. And you know, they're just keeping this play calling fresh. You know, they're calling some runs, they're calling some screens, they're calling the passes to the tight end. We've seen some slant patterns to James Cooley. I mean, they've called a little bit of everything, and that's just keeping this Washington defense guessing.
All right, Ramos Stradamus, so we're right in the last play. What's Charlotte going to dial up this time?
I think it's going to be just a simple run, right behind the fullback.
Behind the fullback. It was a more complicated, but still wasn't around the middle behind the fullback. All right, Ramos, take over. Just a yard on the last play.
Hey, well, 2nd and 9. Look, you have the control of this game, right? You have the control of this game. You don't want to do something dumb. I will run it again here on 2nd down and 9, and just kind of keep the defense tired.
The gun, they run again. Curtis right side, in a couple yards. Maybe just 3, brings up 3rd and 6. All right, decision time now, Coach Ramos.
And I think this is going to be a throw. But if it's not open, just don't force it. If it's not open, just do not force it.
All right, Clements, what you got? Only a 3-man rush. Washington playing coverage, and that will be a coverage sack. Beautiful from Washington. They're able to stop him inside the red zone. That's John Gary. That's a 4th down.
Yeah, and again, you know, do not force it, right? Do not force it. It's better to take a sack and be able to kick the field goal than throw in an interception. Absolutely. You know, if you throw an interception, obviously you give the Washington the ball and you just completely disrupt your momentum. So the sack is not the worst thing in the world. You still have a very manageable, I will even dare to say easy field goal coming, and you can make this a 24-0 game.
John Gary's 6th sack of the season now leads the team for Washington as this field goal from the right hash is up and good. And now it's 24-0 here for Charlotte. Douglas with a 37-yarder, able to split the uprights and give us some more points. There's a look at your bingo numbers as Washington will take over. They look for a decent return, trying to get any sort of momentum back on their side, Ramos.
Yes. Yeah, they need something. Still a 3-possession game. 3-possession game. So, if Washington scores a touchdown, they do need to go for the 2-point conversion and keep it, from a 3-possession game to a 2-possession game.
Kickoff, it's on its way. Washington will elect to take a knee, and we bring in our AI expert, Cameron Irvine, to talk a little bit. Charlotte's defense has done extremely well in the first half. What have you seen from here going into half number 2?
Yeah, it's actually kind of incredible when you look at how their defense has progressed over the course of this season. They haven't. They've lost 6 points overall of talent, and they've gained 6 points overall of talent. When you look at what they've done in terms of adjusting their defensive game plan through the first 7 weeks of the season, they haven't. After all 3 losses, they've improved on the offensive side of the ball and haven't chosen to do anything on the defensive side of the ball. So this defense is essentially untouched over 7 weeks, and for anybody that watches UFL knows that's pretty spectacular, and they're pitching a shutout right now in the middle of the third quarter. On the offensive side of the ball, John Clements got dinged with a serious, he's dealing with basically an illness tonight after getting his throw power dinged, and he's still playing great. So Charlotte, you throw anything at them, and they don't seem to care. They are rolling right now.
They're down here for Washington. They've struggled so far. They've thrown a pick. Charlotte again. This unchanged defense strikes again. And it's going back the other way. Dylan Murphy with the pick.
And I want to see a replay on this one. It looked like trap coverage a little bit. No, it's more so of a lurk. And he just gets the interception, and it's just a poor read by Stevens. And he's really struggling, as is the rest of this Washington team. What a pick by Murphy.
Murphy not playing a flat zone, maybe playing more of a cloud zone, just lurking in that area, finding the football and bringing it in. Now, for the first time tonight, the Royals will start in plus field territory on the 38-yard line. Curtis give left side. Curtis looking for more room. He'll hit the 100-yard mark after that run, and I'll pick up a 5.
Yeah, and right now the job for the Royals is easy. Just run the ball. I'll run the ball. If you're gonna throw maybe a screen, maybe some type of bubble screen or smoke screen, right there.
Woolley turning upfield immediately, but stopped immediately. No gain. Corners were all over that.
Yeah, that was a smoke screen, which is basically an extension of a run play, right? It's just a lateral throw. Get into your playmaker's hands. Obviously, Cooley already with a long touchdown tonight, so I like the play calling, but great defensive play right there by Hayden.
Empty backfield. Besides Clements, they elect to let this clock just continue to roll down to 6 seconds before the snap blitz coming. Clements does get it away for Curtis, who cannot spin out of the tackle from Isaac Green. And they might be just inside field goal range. We'll see.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's only a 2-yard gain, but I think that will effectively make it, if I'm correct, a 49-yard field goal attempt, so under 50 yards. Let's see. So, yeah, he got tackled at the 31, so about 48, 49-yard field goal attempt. And I think that's very doable here for Charlotte.
Need 49 yards from the right hash. From TJ Douglas. Snap spot. Kick is up, and it is good. A line drive. Squeaks through and gives us 27 points for Charlotte. And Washington still have yet to answer.
Yeah.
For UFL schedules, standings, stats, rankings, and more, visit the league website at ufl.football and claim your player today. You can help your favorite team succeed there too by just being a fan and declaring your fandom. UFL.football, the official home of everything UFL.
And at this point here for Washington, you go to the third, fourth page of your playbook. Just try some different things that you haven't done in this game, because clearly what you've tried, sadly hasn't worked.
I will say that is the best return of the night. Every single kickoff before for Washington has been taken down for a knee, so that's some positives there from Lemon. As we take a look at Stevens, only 11 passes, 6 completions, well 7 if you count that pick on the last drive. I'm certain that Stevens won't. They go back as he go back under center here with 2 wide receivers right. Hand off middle. That's a minimal game from Kilgore. He's only got 29 yards on 13 carries.
This front four is really doing some work. Just clogging up all the lanes.
Goal line eye up the middle, and that'll give up 32. And you look at the team comparison, Charlotte over 360 yards of total offense compared to Washington, who's just barely over 110.
Pick it up, defense. Let's go.
3rd and 6. Stevens, middle, off the fingertips of his intended target. In double coverage. Second drop catch, they'll say, from Moody. And that'll bring out the punting unit again for Washington. And it's reminding us quite eerily of the last loss for Washington. They trailed Rochester 27-0 at the end of the third quarter in that one as well. They only had 176 yards in that defeat, so maybe a case of Groundhog Day here for the Knights. That punt again inside the 20-yard line. That's been the bright spot. That's been the good news, is Donovan Taylor's punting ability.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And for the Royals right now, the job is very easy. They will go empty set. I'll say, just keep running it. But they want some more points.
I mean, we have seen a QB draw to this deep shot, and wow, up to the 41-yard line. That first line of defense played really tight up the line. The safeties played so far back, Walker had nothing but space to hold that football in.
Yeah, just in that seam, in front of the safety. And what a catch, just climbing up, get the catch and a hit on the ribs, but still held on to it.
Set 30 base. Set 56.
3 tight ends right now here for Charlotte. They'll run middle. Curtis had a lane up the middle. He gets all the way to the midfield logo, a gain of 9.
This next play probably will be the last play of the third quarter. An offense that really cannot be stopped here in Charlotte.
RPO delay. They'll flip out left side for another first down for Deshaun Walker.
So he got out of bounds, so we're going to see at least one more play before the end of the third quarter.
Right there, 56. Hey, D-line, let's get in there. Let's get in there.
Best to look here for Charlotte. Play action meanwhile. Pass to the corner out. That's caught. No. Dropped by Boone. His first drop of the game.
Yeah.
He's been on fire.
Yeah, he really has. And another perfect throw. Yeah, you cannot really put that on Clemens, of course. Another beautiful, beautiful throw.
Run, Curtis right side with plenty of blocking downfield. Inside the 25. And down right there goes Chris Curtis. Another good game for him as we close in on the end of the quarter. 27-0. The Royals are running rampant here at home as Curtis goes for a season high here tonight And we're still not done. 1 quarter to go. Here in regulation, it's been all Royals here on the Virtual Football Network. And welcome back to Charlotte. I'm Tyler Falk. He's Ramos Lynn. Thanks for joining us here this evening, here for the final primetime of Week 7 here in the UFL. Curtis gets the call. He's up to 132 after picking up 2 more yards there on the last play. Ramos, you can't fault Washington's defense for not trying. They're still trying everything they can to keep them in this game, but right now their offense hasn't paid them dividends as the run here from Curtis right side, and he stumbles forward up to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, defensively, I mean, we've seen Washington, especially in the the first half, for a long period of time, really give their offense a chance, but, sadly the offense just couldn't convert.
Run here on 3rd down. He's going to go nowhere. 3rd down stop, picked up by Matt Brown, the left outside linebacker. And one thing that can be said, while they've given up 3 touchdowns in the first half, this defense only given up 3 field goals here in the second. So it's progress here from the Knight defense.
Yeah. The Royals know it's their day. Just kick the field goal.
38 yards from the right hash. Snap spot. Kick is up. And that is good. Up to the 30 points now for Charlotte. And that tier bingo card. And we waited long enough, I think, here, Ramos. Let's bring in the UFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine for a special announcement.
Yeah, save the stinker, right, guys? Man, Charlotte putting it to Washington tonight. So, I wanted to let everyone in the UFL know, especially the players who are out there. We conducted a survey a couple of weeks ago, and we got your feedback on some things. And one of the things that was prevalent in the feedback is just how the progression system just felt so random. It was, it was all kind of based on lottery systems, and you just didn't feel like you had a ton of control in the ways to apply progression. So a little bit of a hybrid here as we get to the second half of the season. But what we want to start doing is rewarding you for votes. Every team, every player in the UFL, I should say, gets to vote on after a loss, on uniforms and game plans and progression, and then after a win on uniforms as well. And we want to reward participation in this league, as Charlotte's called for a face mask there. So what we'd like to do is for every vote that you cast as an individual, you'll get an attribute point banked for off-season training, right, to improve yourself or to improve your teammates. If you improve yourself or another user individual, then you would get 1 point. If you decide to invest in other unclaimed players on your team, you would get 2 points. And what that does is Stevens going deep.
Oh, and he dropped it.
Wow, that was close. Well, what that would do is incentivize you to help boost some of the players on your team that may be less desirable for people to claim, and now make them better. There's a lot of details that we're going to put out in writing, right? So you don't have to scramble to listen to what I'm saying. But basically, the concept is that we want you to be rewarded for voting and for participation. At the end of the season, we'll pool all the points together. It'll show just how much you have. If you are voting after a loss, your vote counts for double the points, incentivizing teams who did lose to further participate in sort of that ownership of your team, right? Ramos, as a team owner in another league yourself, you can understand how team ownership matters, and we want our players to feel that ownership of their team and their vote being cast not just to make decisions for the team, but to also invest in the future of the team is something that we're really excited about.
Ramos, you could talk more about the team. Just as myself as a broadcaster in this league and that league, it's fun to see everyone improve. But Ramos, you can definitely speak as far as to especially when you want your team to improve in a certain area, you have a much more finite opportunity now here in the UFL.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you find your identity and you basically improve your players towards that identity. Right now, for example, we see Charlotte, they have a really strong running game. They have a really strong passing game, especially in the short and intermediate throws. So stuff like route running, stuff like, breaking tackle, they really like to run between the tackles. Those are things that you can improve upon. Defensively, they have a very strong secondary. We've seen it all night long. And you can really strengthen those things if you really want to strengthen your strengths. And also the weak part sometimes. If you see that the team is really struggling with pass rushing, you can also attack the pass rushing part and just get creative and improve week by week. And it's just such a rewarding feeling right now. Of course, it happens, with that progression. Sometimes you cannot really get any tackles for loss, and then with improvements, all of a sudden your linebackers are all over in the backfield, and then it really adds a level of strategy. And the great thing is that not everybody can do the same strategy because it won't work for everybody. Teams in the UFL are very different. Some teams have amazing quarterback play, some teams have amazing running back play. Some teams have a better defense than other defense, just, talent-wise. So, it's just very interesting to see how teams in the UFL are going to basically cater towards those identities.
And the league is going to match all of your points that are accumulated on the team, and we're going to use that, great punt, we're going to use that to develop your depth on your squad. You might have an offensive tackle that's a 55 overall. You don't want to spend any progression points on him. The league will do that for you. So based on a team's participation, right, that's going to help the team further develop their young talent. So people were asking about the offseason. People were hoping for a little bit more control over progression. And while it's not part of the in-season progression per se, it is a part of developing your team, developing your identity, and continuing on moving forward. So unfortunately, this game got away from us in the second half, but fortunately we were able to come on here and just speak to our customers. We listen to you. We see your survey. We're trying to improve the product every day. And I know Washington's going to be trying to improve after this defeat tonight, unless something really bizarre were to happen in the last 7 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, UFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine. And I think now the bigger question here is, Washington now go here into the hurry-up. Stevens with a brilliant pass on that last play. Now another good pass up the sideline, and finally knocked the bounds on the 37-yard line. Ramos, if you're in that Washington locker room, regardless of a user player or an unclaimed player, who are you focusing on with your progressions next week to get have a better, because you have a game plan you're going to vote on, but who are you focusing on when you're applying those progressions?
At least for the, based off of this game and, some of the games that I've seen from them, I think offensive and defensive line are a big area of opportunity here for Washington. They really couldn't stop the run consistently. They were getting pushed around, to be perfectly clear. And defensively, they just really couldn't put any pressure on Clemens. And when you cannot put any pressure on the quarterback, and when your quarterback is getting pressured, and when you cannot run the ball, it really doesn't matter how good your running back is or how good your quarterback is or your secondary. Your secondary will not be able to hold for 20 seconds back there just covering everybody. So
excellent catch. Sorry, Ramos, excellent catch there from Isaiah Moody up to the 1-yard line. Washington looking for points. Can they find him back in the end zone? Yes, sir, but a flag, a late flag, and it's going to be illegal touching in the back of the end zone. And so we'll do it again.
54, right there. 54, Mike. I'm coming after you.
Stevens, back in the end zone, and complete, jumped up for it, and couldn't haul it in. Quentin Burrow.
Third and goal at 1.
Washington trying to avoid being only the second team in prime time to be shut out. Ron middle, nothing. Foster gets a loss of 2 on his first carry of the game. Don Johnson, she's able to pick up the tackle, and now decision time.
Yeah.
Will
yeah, for
they
sure.
take the points?
I think you have to go for it. You know, you do want to break the 0, but instead of kicking the field goal, I think you have to go for it. If anything, well, actually, they will kick it.
Take the easy points. And we'll go to Cam Irvine here in a moment. Snap, spot kick is up, and no longer a 0 on the scoreboard for Washington. 30-3, down by 27. Again, over to Cam Irvine. Like, some would say, you know, Ramos, you're right. They should have gone for it. They're down by 30. They got to quickly get back in this game, but maybe the time just isn't in the cards for them.
Yeah, and this line of code that we've edited is basically based on score. If they were down by 24 or less and it was a 3-score game, they would not have kicked that field goal. But essentially what we're saying is, look, the game is out of reach. They are down by too much. Rather than going for it and getting a meaningless touchdown, just take the points and keep it moving. And that's what Washington decided to do. Now, unfortunately, they were inside the 5. But the code doesn't take into consideration how close you are to scoring a touchdown, just that it's 4th down, you're in field goal range, and you're down by more than 24. So that's where that specific line of code that's been adjusted is coming from.
Thank you, Cam. As Clements will sit back to go to work. Pretty decent day from the man under center, 22-29.
30 base.
2 touchdowns, interrupt to a potential win, or likely win here with just over 5 to go. Curtis through the middle, so we'll see plenty of him. And we have all night for 26 carries now, over 141 yards. Very solid day for the albino.
Down. 8 reads.
Mike, 55. Check, 55, Mike.
Let's go, tight end. Let's go right here now. 2.
I formation, Curtis with the give. He's taken down behind the line. The boosts have come in. The daily giveaways have come in. Congratulations to Buck Wild from Miami and Lars Bazaar in winning the daily boost. Congratulations to Fallen Chaos for the daily drop. And then the drop save goes to Eric Vinson as Curtis takes up the first down, and Royals are just going to try and see out this clock. They will move to 4-3 in their 3rd consecutive win after, you know, a slump. Here, Ramos starting the season 0 just losing to Rochester in one of the first UFL prime times. And now here on this prime time, just how far they've come, mostly on that offensive side.
18 Gators.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is with, you know, as Cam was saying, a little bit of a handicapped Charleston offense. It's not Charleston, Charlotte offense. So, you know, it's very impressive. I really loved how balanced and dynamic they've been offensively. They're running up the middle. They're running outside. We've seen read option. We've seen screen passes, you know, to the running back and to the receivers. We've seen long throws, just a little bit of everything. And just Washington is sole source of discombobulated.
Clements will tuck and run here to the near side out of 1, but finally wrapped up at midfield. And so Charlotte will go to 4-3. They will go to LA on Friday, May 16th. That's the next time you will see the Charlotte Royals.
15
And then they'll go to New Orleans, then host Cleveland, then over again to Florida. So it's a pretty positive schedule. They could be on for a little bit of a run here as Curtis again with a nice burst of speed up inside the Washington 40-yard line. Meanwhile, for Miami, they're going to host, or for Washington, excuse me, they're going to host Miami, who's currently 4-2, on Sunday, May 18th, and then they will fly to fly to New York to play 2 teams in New York, both New York proper in Manhattan, and then Rochester. So 2 tough games for them, and Washington just content to trying to get out of this game as quickly as possible to try and save face. And let Charlotte come away with their win as we hit the 2-minute warning here on this 1:33. This game's been over for quite some time. We're only 2 minutes away from making it official. It's Charlotte here on top here in the final game of Week 7.
Watch the run, watch the run.
Fire.
Minutes to go. Curtis with another give to the right-hand side. He'll be taken down at the 40-yard line. Let's talk about that Week 8 schedule here, Ramos. It begins with a special UFL Saturday matinee doubleheader with Kevin Irvine and Charles Doherty on the call live from VFN Studios. Cincinnati visits St. Louis, followed by Florida traveling to Dallas. Action starts at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Virtual Football Network. Plenty more action to come all year long here on VFN. We have the SFL Championship game coming up this Saturday with Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty. We've got UFL action. And yes, Iggy, we did come up with the announcement. Your voting for your teams now matters when you go in and vote for game plan and uniforms. And if you lose, you vote for game plan changes. Those votes now equal points. If you put those points on a user player, they're worth 1. If you use those points to upgrade a unclaimed player, those are worth 2. And then the league will go in the back end and help out with your lower rated players as well. Curtis gets 1 more carry for another first down. That'll pretty much seal the game if it already wasn't sealed. And we'll see one final play, one final favorite formation of every coach, every player that is up and winning. The victory formation. No, we're not going to see the victory formation. All right. Clement's going to go under center. Watt's going to take one more step. Curtis is done for the night. Final play of the game. And we're going to get one more play, a flag as we get to delay a game. Clement's trying to milk this one for all it's worth. Get a few extra cheers out of the hometown faithful. They will have to snap it one more time. And we will see a second time that the Royals will try and run it. High formation. Charlotte gets a little quiet. Watt gets the call, goes left-hand side, and the time expires. A convincing 30-3 victory for the Charlotte Royals over the Washington Knights. Ramos, take us through this one more time.
Yeah, I mean, just the scoreboard says that everything. Charlotte just dominated from start to finish. Washington, again, in the first half, they did have a couple of defensive drives that were really good, and they were able to get an interception. But, really, realistically, at no point it looked like the Charlotte offense was going to be stopped consistently. And, they just couldn't give enough space or enough time for the running backs in Washington to run the ball at all. And just a convincing, solid win here for the Royals.
And so that'll do us here from the VFN Network. Thanks to UFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine and my partner Ramos Lynn. I've been Tyler Falk. We'll catch you for more UFL action coming up later. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.